great slides. So before we begin, let me get some feedback from you guys. What is the first thing that you do when you're designing a slide? Like, what do you start with? Anybody? With what?
Background.
With your background? Okay, anybody else?
Color choices.
And what was that?
Color choices.
Color choices? Okay, so as you can see, we all start in different ways. So we're going to talk to you about the most effective way to start. That's with your titles, and why starting with your titles is more important as opposed to starting with like the background or your color choices. Especially if you're like me, then colors are, you're pretty picky about that. So you find yourself spending like 30 minutes, trying to pick your colors, and that takes a lot of time. But before we go into all that, let's look at what not to do. So as we can see from this slide, we have a lot going on, and it's just very distracting, very bright. The animation was crazy. So, for example, the font, we have so many different fonts going on here. You can barely read some of it. And we also have some charts over here. We don't even know what they're talking about. Like, you can see the title, it says our favorite fruit, but what about the favorite fruit? What do all those numbers mean? And, so these are some of the things that we're going to talk to you about in our presentation, how to avoid making such mistakes. Even down there, we have some misspelled words, and we're going to walk you through how you can avoid doing things like that and create your effective slides.
Felicis just showed us what an ineffective slide actually looks like. So first I'll be talking about how to start with the titles. Identify what the audience needs to see. So try to reinforce the structure by making sure that each slide has an appropriate topic title. Start off by having the titles first and putting in your topics, the topic title, instead of putting in the content and realizing that those information are not required. And according to our class, most of us need a summary slide. So having a summary slide for our class presentation would help a lot. So try to cater to the needs of your audience mostly. Emphasize the main points. Look at the presentation objective and decide the structure of your presentation. For example, our objective for this presentation is to show the class on an effective way to design the slides. Next point is to draw attention to the supporting points. This is by backing up with visuals for quantitative data. Quantitative data are usually going to be data with a lot of numbers, so instead of putting them in a lot of paragraphs, try to put them in charts or graphs. Clarify the message. So try to specify your points through the title, speed up the sharing, information sharing, and also create a standalone sense. For example, this slide itself says start with the titles. So it's a way for you as an audience to understand what am I going to talk about, and it's a way for a presenter to understand what is being shared. Next slide, I'll be talking about how to design a basic template. Choosing a color scheme. We have to always consider the audience. According to the business consideration, blue is usually the recommended color scheme. Green is usually viewed for ecological purpose or the environment. And make sure not to use the competitor's color scheme because it will not create a uniqueness for your own branding of a business. Next, you should limit your color palette to just 3. So we have tried to follow the reading and use the complementary colors that was stated in our reading, and we experimented with it as well. So we have used navy blue for the background, peach for the sure that you choose something smooth and simple rather than something crazy fast. It can also help you control the flow of information by showing one part at a time, which prevents the audience from reading ahead and also prevents confusion. And text charts. You can include text charts. When you're including text charts, you want to keep in mind that you want to keep them simple and not add too many words on them. You also want to make sure that they're parallel and make sure the formatting is okay. And you can also include some visual ideas, like such as some design or colors to make it stand out a little bit more.
So when you're done designing your PowerPoint, you want to edit your efforts. Your message will be a lot clearer if it's free of errors. You're going to start by verifying that your structure is clear. If you are using a preview slide in the beginning of your PowerPoint, you may want to consider using it throughout each section so that you can highlight what section you're about to go into. It makes it clearer for your audience. You can also use trackers at the bottom of your slide so that you can kind of use it as a progress bar, either a symbol or word. That way people can follow along and see where you are in the presentation. You need to enhance your visual effects with your pictures and your graphics. Pictures and graphics. So you want to make sure that your colors are effective, especially when you're editing your diagrams and your charts. You need to make sure that if you're using spot colors or dimming colors, that they're emphasizing the title and they're not distracting from the main message. And you can add also using arrows or using circles or animation to kind of get your audience to see what you want them to see when you're talking about it. And then you need to eliminate chart junk. So chart junk is just extra design elements that are not contributing to your message, and they're just adding clutter. So if you see this example here, it is depicting top earners of a company. If you look at the two, you can see that we're eliminating the 3D aspect here. We have simplified the access so it's less cluttered, and the main message is displayed in the title, and it's also been moved up so that's where your eye kind of goes there. And then the next thing is just to proof and proof again. You need to read through your slides to make sure that you're catching any mistakes that spell check doesn't catch. Just because if you're using the wrong form of a word, spell check won't catch it, but your eye will. And then also, if you are using any information that's outside of your organization, you need to make sure that you cite your sources. And then also just run through your slides to make sure that when you do the slideshow, all your transitions that you've designed are coming through. And here, you have seen the ineffective slide that we designed and showed you in the beginning. It's very busy, there's too many fonts, the graphs don't really depict what we were talking about. We improved this slide so you can see how it should look. We simplified the transition and the animation. There's less text. The font is big enough for all of you to read, and it's consistent. And the graph that we have here is appropriate for the slide, and it's more appealing to the eye. And now I'm going to pass it back to Felistus, who's going to wrap it up for us.
Okay, so in conclusion, I'm just going to go over some of the key points that we talked about. Why message titles? In the beginning, I asked you guys, what do you start with? So why should you start with message titles? And the reason is, the titles drive the design of the visuals, and they help you focus and save time when you're creating the rest of the slide, because now it's, you know what you're going to talk about, and it makes it easier to put the bullet points and whatever content you want in there because you have that title message. And another thing is having an effective topic title. As you can see from the example, you have the ineffective topic title, which just says home sales by quarter, and then the improved version says sales peaked in fourth quarter. That one is more detailed. to elaborate on what the topic is about, that title alone is able to explain to the audience what your topic is all about. And make sure the colors work together. Color is really important, as we discussed. Different people see color differently, so make sure you pick colors that are easy to read that enhance your PowerPoint, and don't make it hard to read your visuals and other graphs that you might have on the page. And lastly, check for consistency and correction. Like Brittany was mentioning, there's some things that spell check and other things don't check for. Like, for example, if you use the wrong version of the word to, spell check is not going to tell you that, oh, okay, that's wrong, so